Yo, what's going on guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing another video on custom tactics and player instructions. It feels like quite a while since I've recorded a video like this anyway, but it's nice, it's a nice change. Been streaming quite a lot recently, so let's jump straight into this. So I'll show you the custom tactics I have for this team, which is quite aggressive. Now I just want to stress, really want to stress this: if you don't play to the strengths of the custom tactic, it won't work. So basically what I mean by this is if you use this custom tactic and then you play like really backing off your opponent and stuff, it won't work. You won't really get the results you want. So you have to play a particular style of football if you want it to work. But as you can see, feel free to pause the video and copy it down. But these are the custom tactics I have. So they're all quite high up. I've got 70 speed, 65 passing. Basically what this is, this affects how much your players push up the pitch when you have the ball. So the higher your speed, the more your fullbacks are likely to overlap, and obviously the more your centre mids are going to move up and stuff like that, which is why I'll show you in the instructions later. And 65 passing does pretty similar things. It basically affects how often your players are going to run out the pitch when you have the ball like in your own half of the pitch. But yeah, that's basically how I have it. The higher up you have it, the more your players will push up. The lower down you have it, the more likely they are to sit back a little bit more. And yeah, that's why I have it quite high. Chance creation, this is for more when you're in your opponent's half the pitch. So my passing is very high because this affects how often they run for through balls. So if I had on 100, every time I have the ball, your players would be screaming for a through ball. So in theory that sounds really good, but when you actually try it out, your players are basically dead after about 30 minutes of the game for starters. And two, sometimes you do want your players to come short. Sometimes a through ball isn't always going to work. So I do have it quite high up. I have it 3/4 of the way, but I don't have it all the way up. In terms of crossing and shooting, there's rumours that apparently the crossing affects the shooting and shooting affects the crosses, which is why I kept them the same. But effectively, crossing is going to affect how often your players get inside the box when you have the ball on the wing. So I like to run inside from the wing and drill it into the box, so I have it quite high up. And shooting affects how often your players make forward runs into shooting positions. So have that both high up. Obviously, again, if you have it on 100, all your players are going to be in the box straight away, but that does mean that you can get easily countered. And then in terms of shooting, the higher you have it up, the more likely they get in shooting positions. But like I say again, they're not going to be coming short a lot. And then free form is just so that your players can all get involved in different areas of the pitch. Because as you can see with this team, I've got a cam and then 2 centre mids. So if I had it on like structured, if Fabregas came up and took a shot, and then Ben Yedder would stay up in cam, whereas if I have it on freeform, he can kind of drop into the centre mid role, and it's a lot more fluid that way. Onto the defence, which in my opinion is the most important one, and you can adjust this and it will still do the same effect. So I have my pressure on 70, aggression 65. So pressure affects how high up the pitch your players actually stand. So if I had it on 1, they'd sit literally next to my goalkeeper for most of the game, when your opponent has the ball, of course. And it means that you're not going to concede through balls. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to concede a through ball, because it's not going to happen because your defenders are so far back. However, it does mean that when your opponent has the ball, you're not going to be able to close them down very well. And yeah, it just doesn't do very well for you because you're just going to get easily countered. Because they can just bang long shots, they can have loads of space to do whatever they want basically. So I've put it quite high because that way you can dominate the game, get in the face of your opponent and win back the ball really quickly. Of course, it does mean you get exposed at the back sometimes, which is why it's preferable to have fast centre backs. I have Ramos and Azpilicueta, so it works fine. But if you have slow centre backs, let's say you had like Hummels and Nicolas Saul, then maybe you want to turn it down maybe to like 60, maybe to 50, because you will get exposed. Aggression affects how often your players actually go and close them down. So if you have your aggression on 65 like I do, you can kind of vary it from like 60 to 70. It will just affect how often your players actually close it down. So I have it quite high again, because my pressure is high. It means they can close it down very well. Whereas if I had it on 1, you'll keep a nice solid shape, but then like I said, you can get through balled, you can have long shots taken against you, and yeah, it's just not going to work very well. So aggression, I keep it quite high. And then team width, this is honestly personal preference. In my opinion, I haven't noticed too much of a difference. I just keep it on 55 because that's what I've just kept it on basically. But this just affects, so let's say someone swapped the ball and you have it on 100, it means your left back, right back, centre backs will all shift over to the other side of the pitch. But they're all like shift over, whereas if you kept it on 0, they're not gonna move really. They're just gonna hold their defensive line. So I have it on 50 because that way they do shift over, but they're not like shifting over to the point where I can get exposed on the other side. So yeah, that is my custom tactic, guys. Feel free to copy them down, tweak them slightly to fit your play style. but this is like an aggressive kind of style of football, and it works really well for me. I'm not doing too great this weekend league, but for the last 2 weekends, if you guys hopped in any of my streams, you'll see that for the last 2 weeks I managed to get Elite 3, which is very, very good in my opinion, and I'm quite happy with that because we managed to get some decent rewards. But obviously you guys don't really care about that. We're going to get straight into the player instructions. This is a lot of personal preference. However, for the defense, I highly recommend you copy this. So stay back while attacking on all 4 of your center backs. In a normal interceptions, you can kind of tweak that yourself, but stay back while attacking is crucial in my opinion, because with this formation, you're going to have your fullbacks always overlapping because of how high your attack is. So if you have it on stay back while attacking, they will still go up the pitch, but it won't be as much. If you have on always overlapping, you'll just get absolutely fucked, honestly, guys. You'll get destroyed because they'll play as wingers and it won't be very good. So keep it on stay back while attacking. You can tweak the interceptions because the higher you have it up, the more you will dominate, but at the same time, your players will be dead come like the 60th minute. So I just keep it on normal. For midfielders, again, this is personal preference. I've tweaked it a lot, and I just kind of decided to stick with how it is for the time being. I do kind of experiment with getting to the box and stay on the edge of the box, but for this team, I have kept it how it is. For the cam, I keep it on stay forward so I can have a little bit of extra attacking support. Plus, Ben Yedder doesn't really offer much defensively, so I keep on stay forward. Get into the box with the cross. Obviously, he's not going to win headers, but like I said, I drill it. Free roam, sorry, for the same reason as I was mentioning earlier. You can kind of swap with your other players. Him and Suarez kind of interchange positions, and then conservative interceptions. Like I said again, the cam doesn't really offer much defensively, so it means they can conserve all their energy just for attack. And I've done the same for all 3 of my attackers. I have them all on conserve. Stay forward on both my wingers for the same reason. They're not going to offer much defensively. Cut inside. I haven't experimented with cut inside and getting and stay wide. I haven't noticed much difference, so don't really worry about that too much. However, I do have it on cut inside. Get in behind so you can get the through balls going off. And then the final one is stay on the edge of the box for the cross. I only stay on the edge of the box for the cross for Messi because obviously he's got really good shooting, so you can whip it in top bins or something. Whereas Neymar, I have it on low because his long shots aren't quite as good, and his finishing is really high, so I have him get into the box so he can get a nice finish. And then the final one is Luis Suarez, who I stay central and get in behind for the through balls because he's quite quick and strong, so he works really well like that. And then conservative, so he can save his energy for attack, and then press the back line so you can kind of stay up the pitch and easily break away for a through ball. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That's my custom tactics and player instructions. Feel free to experiment with them however you want to. Of course, different formations will have different custom tactics. If you have like a 4-1-2-1-2-2, then you obviously want to tweak them slightly differently. You want to have your CDM staying back a little bit more, and your 2 centimeters doing a bit more defensively. But yeah, that is pretty much it from me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you use these custom tactics yourself, and if you do, tell me how you tweak them or how you get on with using them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Good luck in your Foot Champions run and your rewards, of course. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. And yeah, peace.